Do you know that planning is one of the most difficult jobs in the planet? Why? Because planning is always about the future, and the future is uncertain and unpredictable. The job is made more difficult as planners are responsible for decisions that affect environmental sustainability, economic prosperity, and the quality of life of the society. All these are critical decisions that most of the time are costly and cannot be reversed. To help them make decisions, planners regularly conduct research on real-life phenomena about the natural world that surrounds us, the built environment that we live in, and the society that we belong to. In this video, we will look at the role of research in planning. At the end, you will understand why research is important in decision-making processes. To begin, let's look at this picture. What can you observe? This picture relates to a particular phenomenon in urban transportation planning. Urban transportation planners are interested in how to improve the mobility of the society and how to ensure the services are accessible equally and fairly to all people. At the same time, transportation services must be safe for use as well as must not harm the environment. This can be achieved if more people use public transportation instead of private vehicles like cars and motorcycles. Before we move on to the next slide, let us assume that the urban transportation planners are intrigued by a phenomenon where there is lack of interest in using public transportation as the preferred traveling mode. To be more specific, the phenomenon can be translated into a transportation problem, which can be stated as, despite huge investment to improve public transportation, traffic congestion continues to be a major urban issue. Now, I am sure that not many people like to spend unproductive hours on the road and not moving, and I believe we'd rather be somewhere else than being on the road stuck in traffic jams. Solving traffic congestion is important as not only it reduces travel time, but it also reduces the pollution level emitted by motorized vehicles. To the nation, solving traffic congestion is important as time spent in vehicles are time not spent doing productive work that contributes to the nation's economy. Coming back to our urban transportation planners, they are now interested to know who are the people that prefer to use private vehicles instead of using public transportation for their commuting trips that are made daily like going to work or going to school. In this slide, we have two statements that may help our urban transportation planners understand more about the issue and hopefully may assist them in finding a solution. The first statement states that most people choose to travel in their private vehicles than using public transportation. Compare this first statement against the second statement, which states that in a 2019 travel behavior survey by UTM involving 1,500 respondents, 73% of male and 80% of female commuters in Kuala Lumpur aged between 20 and 55 years old prefer to travel in their private vehicles as compared to using public transportation. Obviously, the second statement is longer. But if you were a transportation planner, which of the two statements provides more information? Which of the two statements would help you in making better planning decisions? Moving on, let's dissect each of these statements to determine what information is available to us that may facilitate decision making. First, Statement 1. From Statement 1, other than we know that this statement is about the public transportation phenomenon, we basically know nothing else. The statement does not tell us the purpose or context of this statement as well as when and where this statement was recorded. This statement refers to the people in general but lacks specifics. We have no idea how many participants of the study and for whom or by whom this study was conducted. Finally, there is no indication on the approach or method undertaken to perform this study that leads to this statement. As for statement 2, there are abundance of information that lends credibility to this statement. We know that this statement relates to travel behavior of commuters in Kuala Lumpur. The study was conducted in 2019, which may still be applicable in 2020. Also, the study was conducted by UTM and it involved 1,500 respondents using survey technique. We say statement 2 as information rich, as it has a lot of information. Based on the comparison made between statement 1 and statement 2, we conclude statement 1 lacks meaningful information to make any practical planning decision. Statement 1 simply does not have enough detailed information regarding our issue of public transportation usage. Hence, statement 1 is not reliable and the statement cannot be validated to determine its truth. On the contrary, with statement 2, we know that public transportation is not the travel mode of choice among commuters within the active employment age. This information tells the preference of this age group with regards to travel mode for commuting trips. Using this information, planners can now formulate strategies to promote the use of public transportation among this age group or perform more detailed studies to understand why they prefer traveling using private vehicles. In other words, this information may lead to more questions about the travel behavior of this age group, especially what demotivates them from using public transportation. Invariably, more questions will lead to better knowledge and improved understanding of this phenomenon. This is how knowledge develops and is expanded beyond current understanding. In making planning decisions, we must completely avoid relying on unreliable sources of information and unvalidated statements like statement 1. In fact, any statement that is not supported by facts and data is simply an opinion. Opinions are worthless and cannot be used as basis for planning decisions, as they are not reliable, cannot be validated, and may be biased. In other words, avoid using opinions, which are statements that are not factual, at all costs for planning decisions. As we understand that opinions have no practical value, worthless, and do not convey knowledge, we too must avoid making statements that are simply opinions, i.e., non-factual statements. Making planning decisions follows a systematic, logical, and coherent process that consists of a few simple steps. Using specific technique, data is converted into meaningful information that in turn creates knowledge on a particular subject or issue. Using this knowledge, decisions are made. In our previous urban public transportation example, statement 1 simply lacks data. No analysis could be done on statement 1. Therefore, there is no information available that creates knowledge or promotes understanding about public transportation usage. It follows that no practical planning decision on the issue can be made. On the other hand, statement 2 contains data that, once analyzed, creates information which in turn provides knowledge that enhance the understanding of travel behavior of a particular age group. This knowledge leads to informed, data-rich decisions. To summarize, there is a strict requirement in making planning decisions. Decisions shall only be made when data is available. More specifically, decisions are made based on validated knowledge, which are formed from meaningful information. Information requires data. The process of gathering data, analyzing them, and converting data into meaningful information, which later creates knowledge, is called research. Thus, planning decision dictates that research to be conducted as research provides unbiased, factual insight into a phenomenon. Research must precede planning decision. Thank you.